Hello, my friends, and welcome to another Devotional Connection. One of my favorite stories in the Bible when I was a kid growing up was the story of Samson. Here is this devoted guy, dedicated by his parents and to the Lord's service, and he gets this strength, this incredible strength to defend his people, go against the enemies of God, and every turn he was just a wrecker. He destroyed the enemies of God when the Holy Spirit came upon him at every turn. And as a kid, you want those things. You want the strength to protect your family. You want the strength to take on your enemies. You want the strength to wipe out the enemies of God. You want the strength to do something that matters, something important. You want to be able to be a protector and defender of the things that are important to you, especially in service to the King. And all of those things growing up were wonderful. But as I got older and I began to read the story, other aspects started coming out. And the biggest lesson I got from it was not an inspiration of a man who was in service to God, but an inspiration of what not to do while in service to God. Because poor Samson fell into the same trap that so many of us fall into. It isn't the immediate decisions that hurt, but it's a plethora of wrong choices, wrong turns, till you become so callous with your faith, so callous with the rules, so callous with the law, that it winds up costing you your life. It winds up costing you everything. Samson was in a position to protect, to guide, to serve, to lead. He was one of the judges of Israel, appointed by God. And God was using him to stir up some trouble, to cause conflict between the Philistines and the Israelites, so that he could use Samson to wipe out the enemies of God. And that plan still came to fruition. The problem was that Samson lost his life along the way, and we'll never know if that was supposed to be or not. Samson started off with small things. He started off not listening to his parents about what woman to go after. He started off not telling his parents things, like in Judges chapter 5, when he tore the lion in half. He didn't tell his parents what happened. If he'd have told his parents, then maybe when the honey was made inside the carcass of the lion, maybe he wouldn't have eaten it, because he knew better than to go around touching dead things. And then he took the honey and fed it to his parents. Not only was his sin affecting him, but now he was involving other people in his mess. And this is how it begins. He became so callous with his faith, so callous with his purpose, so callous with the promises of God, that at the end of the story, he winds up telling this Philistine woman, Delilah, all about the promise that God made him about his hair and how to remove his strength from him. And it cost him his freedom, it cost him his eyes, and eventually it cost him his life. Folks, when I read this story, and I encourage you to read it if you haven't in a while, it's an encouragement to me to be careful of even the small things, even the little things, the little white lies, the little mistelling of the truth, the withholding of all the facts, the damage that you can do, not just to yourself, when you become so careless and callous that you start including others in your folly, in your mess. And pretty soon you've walked out so far away from the purpose of God that you wind up losing something way more important. The devil knows better than to just throw something major at you. He knows you'll have your guard up. But if he can walk you down the path away from God, a path that you willingly take, when he pulls the rug from under you, it can be a very dangerous fall. And we know better. We have to be on guard. Let the story of Samson remind us, even in the little things, let us be careful about how we make decisions in following the Lord. Let us be true to his word, true to his calling, true to his purpose for our lives, true to the commands that he has given us, and use him as our strength so we don't fall into the snares of the evil one. Talk to you again soon.